Hey, how are you? So I have not posted as much as I should, could, to the Cancer Walls and Peace YouTube channel. So I'm going to do a short video right now. You know, I grew up in the evangelical church. Today, evangelical is not a popular word because of some things going on politically and everything. But I was born into the Episcopalian church, and then I became a Southern Baptist when I was 10, believe it or not, Southern Baptist from New England. But what was emphasized was a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. And so I entered into a personal relationship with Jesus Christ and have experienced that connection my whole life. I'm 64 now. And I emphasize it for my cancer journey too, because I consider that relationship, that connection to be actually instrumental, vital, incredibly critical to my journey. But, growing up in the church, it wasn't emphasized that you could have permission to feel tough emotions. Pete Scazzero from Emotionally Healthy Spirituality says that the tough emotions are fear, anger, and sadness, but that we don't feel like we have permission in the church to feel those things. Like maybe it's a lack of faith, a sin, whatever, but there's a failure going on. And yet, Scripture records all these really pillars of the faith that have struggled with their emotions. And we're wired with emotions and all that. But there's a psalm of David in Psalm 13. He says, "How long, Lord, will you forget me forever? How long will you hide your face from me? How long must I wrestle with my thoughts and day after day have sorrow in my heart?" So there's this, the heart represents that very core of the person, the mind, emotions, will, whatever, where everything intersects into the seat of who this person is. And so for me, I've had moments like that. I in my 22nd year, 6 recurrences, 50 surgeries, a lot of surgical procedures, but a first impression surgery with 3 surgeons down at Lenox Hill Hospital in Manhattan, but just a lot of really radical surgeries. Immunotherapy infusions for 7 years. Just a lot of aggressive radical stuff for an aggressive radical cancer. And there were times that I felt abandoned. It's just honest to say that. There's times I felt like I had all this sorrow in my heart and not sure what to do with it. Now, David, in this particular Psalm 13, says, in the last verse, he says, "But I trust in your unfailing love. My heart rejoices in your salvation. I will sing the Lord's praise, for he has been good to me." So that's important for me too. Once I process those emotions and not feel shameful or condemn myself that I struggle with fear, anger, and sadness, but to process them and surrender them and give them to Jesus and say, what am I really afraid of? And I do struggle. I have struggled with that. I mean, twice I've been told to go home and call hospice. When my surgeon presents my case around the world, he says, "This is Peter 9 years post-hospice." So I've been in the valley of the shadow of death. I know what that feels like to be there. And so I'm not condemning if you feel feelings of fear, anger, and sadness. But I do say there is a way into peace, a pathway into peace, a pathway into comfort and joy, even in the midst of that. I love the Serenity Prayer that says, living a day at a time, one moment at a time, accepting hardship as a pathway to peace, that through acceptance and through surrender and trust in your higher power, Jesus Christ, there is a pathway into peace, even in the midst of the darkness and the dark night of the soul of a very difficult cancer journey. I can attest to this because I have experienced it. Next week I go for another surgical procedure to replace my nephrostomy tube. I'll be in the operating room. They'll look for cancer and all that jazz. But anyway, thanks for listening, and I love the characters in Scripture because they're so human, and yet God is so present in their lives and doesn't turn his back or fold his arms and say, "Oh, what a failure." He embraces us. He hugs us. I remember expressing raw emotion and feeling God's embrace around me right in ICU down in Manhattan. Okay. hope all is well with you. Bye.